Hello, everybody. Okay, so I've never recorded audio like this, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm not talking too loud into the mic. So I think I can talk normal at my normal volume. I normally talk a little bit louder than normal volume for my YouTube videos just so I can be heard, but I'm deciding to record it like this. I might do this in the future, but then again, I might not because I usually record on my phone. Anyways, if you read the title, then today you know that I'm going to be ranking vampire movie and TV shows that I've watched. I should say that if you don't want to hear my parameters of how I'm going to be ranking these, you can skip to this timestamp right here. Otherwise, I'm going to, get into it. I would also recommend getting food or drink if you want it, because I don't know how long this video is going to be because I haven't recorded it yet, but it might be a long one. My parameters for the movies and TV shows that I'll be ranking. First of all, obviously, I'm not going to be ranking every vampire movie and TV show in existence. I'm only going to be ranking ones that I've seen. And of course, I know I've not seen everything. So if it's not on this list, that means either I haven't seen it or I just completely forgot about it. Because I feel like after looking at the list, I feel like after being alive for this many years, I have to have seen more vampire movies and TV shows. But I digress. I'm also not going to be featuring movies or TV shows that have vampires in them, but they're not the main, they're not about the main plot point. That doesn't make sense, but I'll give you an example. Like, I have TV shows on here, like, this is my list over here. I'm going to put it on my lap. TV shows and movies like Supernatural or Wednesday, where there are vampires in the movie or TV show, but they're not necessarily the main focus. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I left out ones like that. I also left out horror movies that feature vampires as the villains because they're not the main. They are part of the main storyline, but they aren't who we're following. We're following the heroes. I should also say that I do not hate or dislike any of these movies or TV shows. That's why in the title I didn't say best to worst, because I enjoyed every single one of these movies and TV shows except one of them to the fullest, and I would totally watch them again. So yeah, in my ranking, it's not going to be best to worst. It's going to be, I liked it, but I liked this one more. I liked this one better than this one, and I will also totally be giving the reasons as to why I'm putting these where I'm putting them. So I'm going to be ranking them, and I can't change the ranking once I've ranked it until I've gone through all of them. These are in no particular order. They're just in the order that I remembered them and wrote them down. Starting at the top, we have Teen Wolf. Okay, so before I rank it, I'm going to be going through what I liked, and not necessarily even disliked, but the things about the show. First of all, I never finished it. I know, how are you ranking a movie? How are you ranking the TV show and you never finished it? It is because once I reached, I don't know, like, how many seasons there are. Once I reached that season where, there's also spoilers, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Once I reached the season where Dylan's character, Styles, got put into the other universe and no one remembered him, I kind of stopped watching the show. It was also because I was watching it on a streaming app that was just hard to access for me at the time that I was watching it, which I'm not going to go into why, but it was just hard for me to access that streaming site to be able to watch the show, so that's another reason I stopped watching it. I enjoyed this show a lot from beginning to where I finished it. I would say that once I got to that point in the show, I didn't necessarily lose interest, but then again, I kind of lost interest. I would say that I didn't like, what is the girl? I didn't like when the fox girl, not the fox, Kira's the fox. I'm talking about the other girl who Styles was dating. Once she joined the show, I just didn't necessarily. Once her character joined the show, I feel like it wasn't her character that, for lack of a better term, because this is not what I want to even say at all, ruined the show. I just feel like the show was starting to go in a direction that was different than how it started in a way. So I was just a bit, I liked the action heating up, where Scott is the main person, and now we're learning about this entire universe that we didn't know existed before, because now Scott's a werewolf and he's a part of that universe. Derek is this, and everyone is, and Styles is the human, and oh my gosh, now Lydia is a siren. I liked that. No, whatever, Banshee. I like that, like where we're learning about all these different things about different characters. I like them fighting different villains. But after a while, I think I can say the same exact thing about Vampire Diaries. It's just like, dang, how many villains now exist that didn't exist before? Out of my 13, I would definitely not put this anywhere near the bottom. I would say, because it's the first one and I do not want to mess up this listing, as of right now, I'm going to put Teen Wolf I'm going to put it at 6. Okay, and also I should say, if I rank your favorite movie or TV show low, please don't feel no type of way about it, because like I said, I loved all of these movies and TV shows. It's just I might have enjoyed one better, because like the next one on this list, Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Sarah Michelle Gellar. I hope I said her last name correctly. I thoroughly enjoyed that show. I enjoyed it from beginning to end, really. I would say the last episode was a bit iffy for me. But other than that, I enjoyed all the plot points. I enjoyed that it was consistent all throughout the seasons. I feel like it wasn't one of those TV shows that continued past when it needed to end, if you get what I'm saying. It's just like it progressed, and then, I wasn't around, even alive, when it first came out. But you could tell that based off of what I've heard, it changed based on how the fans wanted it to change. Obviously, not everyone's going to be happy with any movie or TV show. Obviously, all the fans aren't always going to be happy with whatever changes are made, but I enjoyed the show from beginning to end. And other than that, I really have nothing to say. I was a Buffy and Spike ship. I liked Angel. He was cool. I think he paved the way for Edward, but other than that, I preferred Angel and Spike. It was just, I feel like that couple pairing was giving a lot more than Angel and Buffy. And I think it's funny that a vampire hunter is seeing a vampire. Like, it's not supposed to be, but it's happening, So I would say for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I'm gonna give it a 7. Next, The Vampire Diaries. So I can say that The Vampire Diaries is one of my comfort shows, but because it is one of my comfort shows, I feel like that gives me the authority to critique it more, because I'm invested in it. Around season 7 is when I start to kind of check out of the show. Like when Damon and Stefan's mother's boyfriend, I forgot his name, once he shows up, that's when I kind of lose interest in the show. I don't know why. It's just something about that whole entire story and plot kind of just makes me want to stop right there and rewatch it again just from the beginning. Obviously, there were some characters that I enjoyed more than others. Of course, Bonnie, she's my girl. Elena, I liked Elena. I liked Elena for what she was supposed to be as a character. If I was in her place, I feel like maybe I would have done some things differently, but she was, for who she was, I liked her more when she became a vampire than when she was a human. If you want to know who I shipped, I preferred Damon and Elena versus Stefan and Elena. I enjoyed the plot points. I enjoy, all the villains. Again, like I said with Teen Wolf, it's crazy how, all these problems don't exist in these people's lives until, other people come in, and obviously that's purely for the show. I also didn't like the fact that Bonnie didn't get a happy ending, because after all she's been through every single season, basically being used by her friends, I feel like giving her a happy ending was warranted. And Matt Donovan, why? Because of the show it is. I think I'm going to put Vampire Diaries, I'm going to put it at 5. Next one is My Babysitter's a Vampire. I'm going to be combining my my rating, movie and TV show, because it's both, and the movie really just acts as the introduction, the first episode in a way, or episode 0, and then goes into episode 1. So I absolutely love My Babysitters. I absolutely love My Babysitter's a Vampire movie and TV show. I think for what it was, first of all, it was a part of my childhood, so of course I'm gonna like it. Second of all, The plot was amazing. I feel like towards the end there, because it just kind of got cut off, it didn't really have a true ending to the show. They just kind of ended it either mid-season, or they ended it on a cliffhanger and never filmed anything else. I don't know why they did that, but I enjoyed the show up until that point. I enjoyed all of the villains, all of the things they had to go through. My favorite episode, I would think, would have to be when Jesse comes back and he kind of like he bites Ethan, and then so that Ethan doesn't become a vampire, Vanessa has to come and save him. But then that means she has to drink human blood, which means instead of being a fledgling, now she's a full-blown vampire. And then there's everything that happens after that. I also love the episode where Benny takes a picture of himself, and then he makes a copy of himself. He makes a copy of himself and becomes evil Benny. I just think every single episode of that show is amazing. So I'm definitely going to put My Babysitters Vampire at number 3, because regardless of what happens, I feel like I can go back and watch that show and be happy with every single episode up until when it ends. Versus with all the other shows like Teen Wolf and Vampire Diaries, I lose interest around a certain season. So that one's definitely going at a 3. Next one is Wolfblood. Now, Wolfblood, again, is another TV show from my childhood. I just remember it playing on Disney XD, which I don't even think exists anymore. And from there, I just fell in love with the show. Ridian, obviously, is my favorite character. I enjoy the storylines. I stopped watching after season 3 because, first of all, they didn't really even show the TV show. Well, hold on. Okay, so they showed the TV show on Disney XD, but because of how TV works, I never saw the episodes in order. So it wasn't until I got Netflix in like 2013 that I was able to watch the show in order and watch all of the episodes. And they only ever ended on ended on season 3 when you were watching it on Netflix. So I never really got to see season 4. I know there is a season 4. I don't know if there's a season 5. After Maddie and Ridian left, I think that's just where that was a good place for me to stop the show. And I'm not going to give it the rating like I gave the other shows, because up until a certain point, I only thought there were 3 seasons because that's all they had on Netflix. So, like I said, I enjoy every single episode of this TV show. I think my favorite episode, I like the episode where they get stuck on the island. Like, they take a school trip to a different part of Britain, and they get stuck on this island because of high tide. And so Maddie and Ridian have to just like sneak out and wolf out somewhere else on the island and get to have this fun entire time, and then have to come back and act like nothing happened, and Ridian sleeping in a broom closet. I love that episode. Like My Babysitters Vampire, there's no wrong episode for me. So that one is definitely gonna go 4. Next one is The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Now, I enjoyed this TV show. It was also a part of my childhood, but I didn't enjoy it as much as My Babysitters Vampire and Wolfblood. Not for any necessary reason. I think it's a good movie. It's just not for me as much as those ones are. Maybe it's because, I didn't have time to connect to the characters as much versus the other 2 being TV shows, which gives you a lot more time than a movie. But, for what it was, I definitely enjoyed it, and I would watch it over again. Just like I said, I didn't enjoy it as much. But because, we've kind of filled in the middle area of our listing, I think I'm going to have to put it at number 8. I really don't have much to say on it. I enjoyed it. But it just, number 8. Up the originals, which is the not necessarily spin-off, just a branch off from Vampire Diaries. So I watched this show to completion. I would definitely have to say I was low-key confused towards the middle. I can say that because of how it was happening, I prefer to be able to watch my TV shows when every season is on whatever streaming app I'm watching it on, because that allows me to be able to still remember and not have to go back, watch a season over again after having seen a season because the new season now, and now I don't remember what happened, That's why I've never seen Stranger Things. Don't kill me. With this TV show, I can say like towards the middle there, I had to take a little bit of a break because the seasons weren't either out yet or on Netflix, which is the primary streaming app I watched it on. But overall, I enjoyed the show. Would I say I enjoyed it as much as Vampire Diaries? The thing is, I would have to say yes, but for a different reason. You know, I enjoy the original family. Klaus is literally a baddie. He's wrong, but he's a baddie. You know, I enjoy their whole, oh, family is forever type of thing, because they literally can't die, even though on the last episode, Elijah and Klaus die. That thing, I think that's the reason that this show, first of all, I don't have any more spots, but second of all, I think that's the reason that, you know, I'm putting this show lower than I might possibly, where it could possibly go. I enjoyed that it took place in New Orleans. I don't know how people say it, honestly. It's said so many different ways depending on where you're from. I enjoy the house they live in. I enjoy the dynamic between the wolves and the vampires. I like that Klaus takes interest in that human woman. I don't remember her name right now. I do not actually remember what happens to her. I do like Marcel's storyline. I also like the witch girl. I like when Cole becomes like nice because now he's a witch in a different body, and then he goes back on his, you know, when he gets back into his body. Anyways, yeah. So like I said, it's gonna have to go at 9 because I already have that middle area kind of filled up because I was trying to save room for these other ones. Next up is Vampire Academy. And so out of all the ones on this list, I think Vampire Academy was the one I remembered the least. So I rewatched that last night, and I would say I have the same reaction to it as I do The Boy Who Cried Wolf. You know, I remember watching it when I was in middle school, and it's good for what it is. It's definitely a cool, nice, if you're binge watching vampire movies, it's chill for a 2014, that's when it came out, movie. So like if I was having a vampire movie binge watch, I would watch The Boy Who Cried Wolf, Vampire Academy, because they have the same feel to them because they both came out around the same time. So I'm going to put it at this point. My camera shut off without me noticing. I ended up putting a Vampire Academy at the number 10 spot, and then I went into talking about the little vampire, and I'll just give you kind of the gist of what I was saying, and then it's going to go into what the rest of what I was saying. I absolutely enjoyed this movie. I haven't seen it in years, to be honest with you, but I have really nothing bad to say about it because I enjoyed it as a kid. I would totally watch it again now and enjoy it the same exact way. I love the characters. I think, you know, it's a really cute movie, and finding the pictures to put into this video for the movie made me want to watch it again. So I really I do love this movie genuinely, and it's amazing. I also really love the bond between the two characters. I can't name them off the top of my head right now. Like I said, I haven't seen this movie in years, but I love the bond between the two characters. I love the sister. I love how the brother is styled. I love that scene where they're in the basement. I can't completely describe it off the top of my head, but I love that scene where like they find him in the basement and he's like hiding out there. Like I think the whole family's hiding out there. Like I love that part. And now we're going to get back into the rest of what I was saying where the clip cuts back in. I love, you know, I don't remember the actor, but you know, he was just in that era of the early 2000s. He was basically in everything. Stuart Little, the little vampire, like that was his time period. You know, like Macaulay Culkin had the 90s. He had the late 90s, early 2000s. I haven't seen the reboot. I don't plan on it because I'm a writer for the original. But because I messed up. I could already tell I messed up on this list, and I'm so happy that after I go through it, I get to come back, because as of right now, it has to go at number 11. I don't want it to, but it has to, because these other movies that I have on here and TV shows. Oh, next up, Vampire Night. I was not prepared for the twists and turns and backflips and front tucks that this anime was going through. When I tell you, when the big reveal happened, I paused the TV show, looked at the fake cameras around the room like this. Like, and yes, I'm gonna spoil it because I told you there were spoilers in this. You can skip forward if you would like. But finding out that the man this girl was supposed to marry and the dude who liked her so much was her brother. Like, why? That had me. That really had me. Because she could have ended up with the dude who wanted her. Because she was like, every girl wanted him. Like, oh my gosh, he's so mysterious. He's like, he's different. Da 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 da. Okay, so I don't have any brothers. But if I had logically, if I had a crush on a guy, you know, he was taking me places, doing this, doing that, getting my heart, getting me in my feels, and then I find out he's my brother, automatically it's gonna be a no. All those feelings gone, like that, out the door. The biggest and absolute blaring in your face, literally on your face, red flag you've ever seen. No, it's not. That one is going at 12 because there's another TV show on here. So we are just going to skip and ignore this next one because I mistaked True Blood for a different show that I didn't like. I've never actually seen True Blood, so when you see it come up on the list, just act like it's not there because I've never seen it, so it doesn't count. Next is The Invitation. I hope I said that correctly. That's how I say the word, invitation, something like that. You know what I mean. I watched this show recently, like maybe a few months ago, and I absolutely enjoyed it. For one, I absolutely liked how it addressed the elephant in the room. The fact that, you know, back in the day, being wasn't acceptable anywhere. You know, I'm tired of people sugarcoating that and acting like these vampires are just all inclusive. Like, no, man was born in 1850 where no one that looked like me was going to be high, mighty, and sitting on a throne. I honestly commend this film for bringing it up, that the only reason that he was really trying to get with her was because she was the last of a certain bloodline, not because he really wanted to. I thoroughly enjoyed her being like, sorry, you're moving too fast. I did not agree to marry you. I thought you was cute or whatever, but I thought you were joking. And he was like, no, I was serious. I was serious about this. I would totally watch this movie again. I really enjoyed it, which is why I'm giving it the number 2 spot, because it was a good movie. Okay, but I do want to touch a little bit deeper because I feel like I'm not necessarily selling this movie for it to be the number 2 spot. Beyond what I was just saying, I enjoyed the storyline of him kind of courting her and her not necessarily knowing what was happening up until that dinner at the end where where she thought she was about to meet this happy couple that they've been talking about this entire movie, and then the moment she realizes that she is the bride and he is the groom, and then, like, you know, everything transpires. We find out he's a vampire. We find out, like, oh, she's a part of this bloodline that keeps him alive, and that those 2 other women that were hating on her the entire movie were actually his 2 other wives. Along with that, I love how she just kind of played into it just to survive, and then at the moment of the wedding, when she's supposed to say yes, she just kind of destroys the entire thing, and it's just like, you know, I'm not going to be a part of this system. It's 2023 or whenever this movie takes place. I don't have to just say yes and bow down just because this man wants me to be his bride and all these people want me to go along with it just because it helps them. And I love how she just kind of basically destroys this man's entire house. She literally burns it down and kills him because she's like, no, it's not happening. And last but not least is Twilight. Okay, so I'm going to get into it. First of all, I enjoy the books more than the movies, but I am also going to say, someone who enjoys the series, of course I'm going to call out the blatant disrespectfulness and racism that exists in this book. You know, I don't agree with the way that she represented natives. I don't agree that she basically used them as people in a way that was so incorrect to basically be chess pieces in her storyline, which is another reason as to why I bought all the books secondhand. I didn't give her any money. I think I like this story is because when I'm reading a book, I literally change everything about the book. The names of the characters. If I don't like a name of a character, I'm changing it. How I can actively change a name of a character as I'm reading on a piece of paper, my brain does it for me. It naturally edits. Second of all, I change who the characters are. For example, I kind of self-insert when I'm reading these books, because most of the time these older books and movies aren't really diverse. So I usually change the race of characters. So I think that's another reason that I enjoyed it, because I was kind of making the story my own as I was going. So like, if anyone wanted me to adapt Twilight to fit 2023, I absolutely could. And I think, because I've told people how I would reimagine Twilight to fit in 2023, and I've gotten positive reviews all on the board. So, I'm not going to say it right now. If you guys wanted me to go into an actual deep dive video that might possibly be 3 hours long of how I would adapt Twilight to fit 2023, I would totally do it. But yes, this one gets the number 1 spot because I also read it in 2020, a very turbulent time. The beginning of 2020, where everyone was confused and no one knew what was going on. So, it was just, it really helped me during that time as well. So that's another reason why it gets the number 1 spot. Okay, so recapping the list. And then I'm going to change it, and then I'll show you like the original versus the adapted list. So recapping the original list, we have going from 13 to 1, True Bloods, Vampire Knight, The Little Vampire, Vampire Academy, The Originals, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Teen Wolf, The Vampire Diaries, Wolfblood, My Babysitters Vampire, The Invitation, Twilight. Now I'm going to change it around after the fact and just change around a few things as to, looking at this list, what I would label things. Okay, so I've rearranged a few things, and now I'm going to read the revamped list again from bottom to top. We have True Blood, Vampire Knight, Vampire Academy, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, The Originals, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Teen Wolf, The Little Vampire, The Vampire Diaries, Wolfblood, My Babysitter's a Vampire, The Invitation, Twilight. Okay, so that was my list. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me if you would rank something at a different place. I'm truly and wholeheartedly open to what you have to say in your opinion, and actually rank these in the comments for yourself, because I would love to see you guys' ranking and reasoning for ranking. I would absolutely love to do this again because I love movies and TV shows. I was thinking of what other thing could I do this for? I could do this for animes. I've seen so many animes, like, it's not even funny. I can do this for reality TV shows. I've watched a bunch of reality TV shows. I can do this for Marvel movies. Like, I could literally do this ranking thing for so many things because I thoroughly enjoy watching movies and TV shows. So if you would love to see me do this again, please tell me in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like if you like it, subscribe if you want to see more of me. I try to post every week. And yeah, I hope you have a good week, weekend, weekday, morning, midday, night. I hope your lunch tastes amazing, and bye.